Give me a second. I shall deal with you.
This is my moment.
My eyes. Consider yourself cleaned up.
My take on RPGs as a game dev is that you can afford to pay relatively less mind to game feel as opposed to other games. This is a double-edged sword. It's not necessarily a pro more than a consolation prize for having to dedicate a lot of time to UX, menus and systems, more so than any other genre. So, RPGs can have cool and rad looking animations, but they don't need it. They don't gain as much as other games. The core audience will place much more value in how deep, strategic and customizable your combat is. So what do you do if your combat sucks? Let's do some fancy animations for Thornetica. You'll remember 2 devlogs ago I spoke about the animation systems in plural, both for the front stage, which used like the combat pathfinding logic, and the new one for the backstage, which had the actors walking and emoting about. I had to make unique walk animations for each of the actors, and I was compelled to do this because I specifically found a way that would make this a much less daunting task. I'd been eyeing out this software, Pixelover, for some months now, and I downloaded the trial version and fell head over heels. I decided to buy it in. It's a program made for game developers using Godot actually, made by the awesome Decor. You can purchase it on itch.io or Steam, and yeah, it's image editing software that also features animations through 2D and 3D rigging. They keep adding so much cool shit to this software, and just for $20 it is more than worth the price. So 2D rigging was the main aspect that attracted me specifically to this software. For anyone who is unaware, this is an animation system that is similar to paper puppet, like cutout puppets basically. Imagine you have a cutout puppet where you can rotate each of its like limbs through joints to move it, and you basically have like this 2D doll. To achieve something like this, you have to divide your characters into all the pieces you want to be able to rotate independently. This often means adding pixels in some overlapped areas where joints meet to avoid gaps in the drawing once the limb is rotated, as opposed to traditional frame-to-frame animation, which involves drawing every single frame independently. Here you can just kind of like move a joint, and the software will interpolate the intermediary positions between the 2 positions you've keyed, and you can change the way this interpolation is done. Interpolation is just awesome. It's an awesome tool for game development in general, not just animation, and it saves us a lot of work. I won't say doing the backstage walk cycles was a walk in the park specifically. I still had to rig every character, making their skeletons, separating their sprites into different pieces and rebuilding them back in Pixelover. Also trial and error, and the first animations looked really bad, but I started perfecting those little things like timing and easing and getting everything down. By the end I went back and had to redo the first animations I started with, which I was actually kind of proud when I made them, but I improved so much with the following ones that they just look like dog shit in comparison. So yeah, here's every character's walk animation, and here's a snippet of the backstage 1 cutscenes with the added animation and expressions, which I couldn't show off that devlog 2 weeks ago because it was still in development. Pretty neat, right? Now that I've gotten the hang of this 2D animation stuff, this was just kind of like the warm-up. What I was really interested in, and the reason why I went ahead and purchased Pixelover, was because if I can find a way to animate in 2D at a reasonably fast and economic pace, I can make fight animation. Now, flashy fight animations are the gold standard to make your RPG juicy and attractive to new players. I said at the beginning, it's not the most important thing when it comes to your core audience, and it's definitely not something you're deciding as a core pillar of your game. Hence, I didn't really toy with the idea until over a year at this point in development, but I felt motivated to do it. This is one of the big things that draws me into SRPGs. This is one of the main reasons I fell in love with the GBA Fire Emblem titles specifically, and it was something that's been on the back of my mind to bring to Thornetica since day one, much like the cutscene system and all of that. So I grabbed my already functional Carla rig, gave her a sword, made like a stab motion, exported it to a sprite sheet, put it right into Godot, and let's see how it looks. Oof, this looks really bad. This looks really bad. Not the background though, like the background is pretty neat, alright. Yeah, I'm glad you noticed. I'll quickly skim through the background section because I don't think it's that important, and I couldn't find a way to elegantly fit it into the script. But yes, the background, evidently fights take place on the front stage of the theater clubs. So I gathered some references, sketched how I wanted the fight scene to look, drew it in Photoshop, converted it into a sprite, tweaked the colors into Godot, add some twins, used the skew property, moving the pivot at the bottom of the object, so twinning the skew would make it seem like a cardboard pop-up it's like displaying from the ground, and also like some stuff like this cloud drops from the ceiling with a rope. This is twinning as well. I think it looks quite nice. And yeah, that's the theater, and it's pretty damn cool, I think. But what's the point? What's the point of anything anymore if the animation looked like this? To hell with everything, scrap it, game's cancelled, guys. It's over, it's all over. Now, I'm playing it off as if I'm exaggerating for dramatic effect, but back when I was like seeing this animation, putting it in for the first time and having all these realizations, it actually really shook me to the core. I mean, the walking animes looked good, sure, but though they're nice, they were more of a stepping stone to learn the process and do the attack animations, which were the real meat and potatoes of what I wanted to achieve. So in a sense, I felt like I basically wasted 3 weeks of work doing the walk animations and the cutscene system just on a whim, because I hadn't actually tested that the fight animations would look good. I just kind of trusted that since I could do the walk animations, I could do the fighting animations as well, but it wasn't looking like it. Normally, this would be demoralizing enough, but you guys are expecting me to deliver fresh updates on the game's progress, and I felt embarrassed at the thought of having nothing worthwhile to show. I really thought it was inevitable to scrap the battle animations. They could not be done. I don't have even close to the skill required to attempt hand-drawn. And the rigged fight animations? Let's not kid ourselves, they look like dog shit. I went to have dinner and then came back to my desk. I was so tired, I felt like dozing off, but for some reason, I sat down and began to draw. First thing for an animation is to get the timing right, so how about we go the old-fashioned way and just block it out, which basically refers to drawing out the different individual frames by using like geometric shapes to draw the character very fast and just kind of like try to nail down the motion of it all. So I started blocking out Bonnie's sword fighter attack, knowing it'd take forever. It wouldn't be good enough, and there was no way I could do the 49 animations required for every actor to have an attack in each class. What was even the point? I wasn't sure why I was trying anymore, but I think I just wanted to go to sleep that day with even like a shrivel of hope of you've not wasted the past 3 weeks. Even though deep in my heart I knew I had. I don't remember at which point I decided to call it quits for the night. I recall I was looking attentively at the FE GBA animations, looking at their timings, their in-betweens. My blockout was decent enough, leagues better than the motion displayed by the 2D rig, but actually translating it into a color sprite was taking forever. I did just a couple of frames to test it out. It was such a tedious task, and I'm not complaining, I know animation is hard, it's kind of the point. but to me it felt devastating because it confirmed that I wouldn't be able to do these animations, to put these animations into my game, because I have to program everything else. I have to still write tons of dialogue and take care of marketing and put out these videos for you guys. So I just didn't have like 300 hours out of my spare time to learn how to actually animate well enough and make all the unique animations look as good as they deserve to be. Still, I kept at it, and out of the little strength I had to stay awake, I drew 2 major conclusions that night. I was afraid I'd forget them, and I'd just wake up the next day feeling like shit because I'd feel like shit for staying up so late, and not be motivated to do anything. So I left myself 2 notes on my desk. The notes and the message I left on myself read as following. Don't give up. Nobody starts off perfect. It's quite a difficult task. Focus on learning more than actively progressing to do all the attack animations. And remember, every Fire Emblem animation can be divided into rest, anticipation, contact, and retreat to rest. Try to add the retreat to rest to Bonnie's animation, and perhaps the rig in pixel over can actually help to turn the block out clean. The next day, I woke up and read the note. I had fire in my eyes. Eureka! This was it! Bring the hand-drawn timings of the blockout into Pixelover, then use the rig to make up the poses. By creating multiple versions, I can replace the cutout parts to give Bonnie different costumes depending on the animation. Then back into A sprite it goes. Replace clunky in-between frames with smears, add effects and motion lines, refine the timings again. At 14 FPS, hand-drawn looks buttery smooth. And this is how, over the course of the next week, I managed to do all 6 Bonnie attack animations for each of the different classes in the game. Only 41 animations to go, plus dodge animations, but those shouldn't be that much of a hassle. Which animation is your favorite? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching the video until the end. It's awesome folks like you that inspire me to keep pushing myself when I want to give up and throw it all away at 2 AM in the morning. I hope you learned something new with this video, either about animation or the tortures of indie game development. If you want me to do a deep dive into any of the topics mentioned in this video, or you just have any other ideas of cool game dev topics you want me to talk about, again, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Lazy Game Dev, out. Thornetica's demo is free on Steam right now. Close the shit, go check it out.